This is the Patriots Pregame Show, fueled by Duncan.
He's throwing it towards Polk, left corner of the end zone, caught! Touchdown New England!
The Patriots Pregame Show is your source for all the news and information before every game.
He took it to the house! Again!
Here we
and
go!
The Patriots take the lead!
Patriots Nation, welcome to the Patriots Pregame Show, fueled by Duncan.
Welcome in, Deuce, Claudia, Paul Perillo doing radio, but he'll be back with us soon. We just saw the unveiling of the Tom Brady statue. It's big. I knew it was 12 feet, but it's bigger than I expected.
17 feet altogether,
17 feet
if you include the base and the raised arm. So, yeah, that was pretty cool. See Tom Brady back here. That always makes me excited. Our favorite. Tom Brady gave all the championships here to New England. And welcome to you, Claudia. This is your,
Thanks,
you just kind of jumped right in, but welcome to you here on the pre- and post-game show. Paul is doing his hit. He's a famous guy. He's got to do his radio hits. So
he's wanted.
Excited to have you. It's going to be a short show tonight, though.
It is. I know. We'll be out at 7:15. We got kickoff at 7:30, of course. This is the official start, we can call it, right? The first preseason game against the Commanders, although they're not putting really any of their players out there. It sounds like Vrabel saying he's going to put the starters out there. We don't know how long, but we will see them.
Yeah, I think we're going to see a little bit of Drake Maye tonight, which will be good. I mean, resting some key guys, but obviously you were there for the joint practices. We did a joint practice show. A lot of great work there for, I'd say, across the board for the Patriots. So we'll see. You want to protect some of those guys like Stephon Diggs, Christian Barmore. I don't know if we need to see those guys tonight. Let's protect them. Seen some of the injuries going around the NFL right now. Rashawn Slater, unfortunately, you just hate to see that stuff that you spend all offseason. This is our team. This is who we got. And then all of a sudden you don't got that guy anymore.
Well, quarterback specifically, Anthony Richardson in particular with the Colts. Pinky, thankfully, right, of all the injuries he could have had being out last season. But that was a blown coverage. It was terrible, right in his face. Pinky done, first preseason game. Imagine that's the last thing you need with your quarterback.
No, it's the worst. And we all have memories of random guys that get hurt. You just hate to see it, especially for guys that are pushing right now for a job. That's what the preseason's really about. Some of these guys trying to earn some of those extra roster spots. So hopefully everyone stays healthy across the board. I don't care what team you're on. You just want to see every team go healthy into the season.
The first thing that comes to mind, though, is Drake Maye and how long he'll stay out there. I don't really want to see him on the field unless he has those starting front five, though, right? Because it's all about the protection. It wasn't good, even with the starters last season. So how long do you really want to see him out there for?
It's a great question, Claudia. I mean, Morgan Moses has been on a plan. He's been in and out all season. We brought him in, felt like he's going to provide some stability. And now I wouldn't expect to see him tonight just based on how they've been managing him. Yeah. So you've got rookie Will Campbell. We feel pretty good about him. We feel pretty good about rookie Jared Wilson, but they're rookies, and they're going to get their first taste of real NFL action tonight. So it is a little bit of scary. You want to make sure you're protecting Drake, but at the end of the day, it's football. You got to throw him in there. You have to play somebody, so hopefully Drake survives, and those rookies all get good work. That's what's exciting.
Yeah, and it's not like we're going to see anything crazy in terms of plays, in terms of coverage. It's going to be very vanilla, as it always is with preseason. But do you have high expectations for Vrabel? Because, of course, we had high expectations for him being a head coach after having Mayo last season. But what are you expecting to see from him here?
I just expect a continuation of what we've seen all spring from him, which, I mean, we all know. You grew up around here. You remember Mike Vrabel. Mike Vrabel, everybody knows Mike Vrabel. You don't need any introduction to him. And I think his personality that we remember him as a player for has carried over as a coach. And Paul and I, we were down in Tennessee a couple years ago for joint practices, and you could see the same Mike Vrabel putting that personality into his coaching style. So I've seen that rub off on him. He got in the middle of the scrum, in the joint practices. He was bloodied and everything. So I think the team is really starting to take on that personality, playing tough, and as you said, not a lot of spinning the dial, scheme stuff, but the way that this team plays, they play hard, and I think we'll see that tonight.
Did you like that move of him diving in the pile?
Sure. I think we're all a little worried about Vrabel. I mean, he keeps jumping into all these drills, and I'm like, are you going to be healthy? Like, are you getting in shape yourself, Rabes? But I think that the team loved it. I think as a player, seeing your coach jump in there, it just continues to, kind of solidify the team around him, his philosophy. And if your head coach is jumping in there and making a stand for your players, it's hard not to say, I want to play hard for that guy. So, again, we're just getting rolling with Vrabes, but I think it's all been really positive so far.
It's the energy. You needed some sort of shift after last year, but really the last few years.
Yeah, no, it was. It's true. And, I think Paul and I, we talk a lot about, were we fooling ourselves in year past? I think when Bill Belichick was here, we said, we got Bill Belichick. Like, he's going to get the most out of this team. And then, those 2 seasons where they didn't make the playoffs in 22 and 23, it was a little bit of a shock. And, last year it started off good, and was kind of a slow descent from that week 1 victory. So I don't want to get into all the comparisons. All I'll say is that having watched all the training camp and the joint practices, this feels like a football team to me. Feels like they have a personality. Feels like, especially on offense, they know what they want to do. Well, I'd say defense too. They know what they want to do. They know how they want to play. And that's a great place to be as we get into the first preseason game here.
Which they weren't. There was a lot of questions heading into the last few seasons. There's a lot of options. Of course, these guys trying to make the 53-man roster, which makes a game like this, which made the joint practice so important with all of that depth. And I know we'll get into the keys of the game, and I do see people calling in. We'll get to you guys in a sec. I guess we could start with keys of the game because I know we're going to talk about the trenches. I want to talk about the receivers. If you had to think of one key for the squad, again, preseason game, what would be your key?
Well, for me, it's all about the bubble. The guys who are trying to make this team right now. And you saw, I'm just going to come up with 3 names that I thought, have played a little bit more, have maybe popped a little bit in recent practices. I'll just start with Elijah Ponder, who's, defensive end, an undrafted kid from a small school. And he's been kind of coming on a little bit. He had some really solid pressure coming off the edge this week against the Commanders in joint practices. I think there's some opportunities there. Harold Landry's another guy that I don't think we're probably going to see him tonight. A veteran they want to probably protect. So Elijah Ponder's a guy to me, and I'd also, just mention Braden Swinson, 2 rookies on the edge, position where they need some depth, those 2 guys. The other 2 names, Marcus Bryant, getting some increased opportunities on the right side, a little bit of an unknown. Trey Jacobs has been in that spot early on in camp. We saw him last year. We have a little sense of what kind of player he is, but Marcus Bryant's starting to make a push a little bit, and where you don't quite know the ceiling yet on him, it seems like, hey, let's see how this kid can do. Is he a possible swing tackle? Could he maybe even be the right tackle of the future? And last guy I'll mention is last guy in the draft, Kobe Minor, just a cornerback, probably going to play a lot tonight. He showed me some stuff over the last week or so. Seems like he's coming on a little bit. Didn't see much of him early on in camp, but in joint practices, round the ball a little bit. So keep an eye on those guys, two rookies, or actually all 3 of them rookies, which is, of course, Paul, a position to watch tonight across the board for the rookies.
Absolutely, and that's what these preseason games are really all about, is opportunities for younger guys to emerge and earn roster spots, earn playing time, and depending on where you fall in the hierarchy. I knew Mike would probably focus more on defense because Mike likes to tell you he's a defensive guy, Claudia.
Yeah, I've heard.
I've
heard.
We don't need to reiterate.
So I knew you would go defense, and I knew you would focus on the young guys. That's why my key to the game. Yeah, I think are you still doing keys to the game? Because I come in a little.
Welcome in, Paul.
I come in hot. I don't miss a beat. It's okay. So I wanted to talk a little bit about the offense and just I want to see a smooth operation. I want to see. For however long Drake Maye and the regulars are on the field, I want to see. I don't care if they go 90 yards and score a touchdown, but I want to see. I'm having PTSD to last summer, Mike. I don't want to see any false starts. I don't want to see any fumbled exchanges. I want to see a smooth operation all around, and I want to see a continuation of what I saw from Drake Wednesday in the joint practice, where the timing and rhythm was there. If it called for, getting on the back foot and the ball's out, I want to see the ball coming out on time. Again, we're talking about a couple of rookies out there, more than likely, with Will Campbell and Jared Wilson at left tackle and guard. So hopefully he'll get some time. But regardless of the amount of traffic he has in the pocket, I want to see the ball coming out on time and where it's supposed to go. The results will come, but I just want to see it look normal. It looked really normal on Wednesday. I want to see a continuation of that, the consistency in stacking the days of success.
Well, that's if they can keep the pressure off of him too, right?
Absolutely.
We talk about the line in general. It's going to start with the trenches, as it always does, but that was their biggest issue. Thankfully, he's so good with his legs, and it's actually a good comparison. Jaden Daniels had the highest scramble rate of any quarterback in the league. Who was next behind him? It was Drake Maye.
Run, Drake, run!
And thankfully he could run, but that's an issue. How about this? Drake Maye had the least amount of time from snap to facing pressure on his dropbacks of any quarterback in the league, just 1.96 seconds. So, yes, we want him to develop as he should in the second year, but you do need that protection in order to do that.
Absolutely, and you hope that Will Campbell, Jared Wilson, maybe Marcus Bryant, that these new guys are going to be the core of that. I think we're all understanding, though, that some rookies, there might be some scary moments, and especially in the preseason, that's a little bit frightening, but everybody would be, I think, on board to take a little bit of lumps, but if we're building for the future, and these guys are going to hang in this lock down this left side of the line for the next decade, I think we'll be all right taking a few hits early on here.
I like that, though. Control the controllables. Because I just remember David Andrews sitting on the sideline in the preseason games last year, and he's like, oh, my God, all the false starts and the holdings. And we saw that. They had the 4th most offensive holdings.
And that's what has me, one of the things that I'm encouraged about. We haven't seen a lot of that in training camp practices. Last year, it was constant, to the point where guys like Austin Hooper were saying, we're going to have to decide if we want to be a cross-country team or if we want to be a football team, because we're going to have to run after all of these false starts in practice until we learn our lesson. So we haven't, there was a couple of, here and there, a couple of spots where they had some pre-snap penalties, but not a lot. And I didn't really see any real problems. I think there was one on Wednesday. No botched exchanges on Wednesday. So I'd like to see Drake maybe, if he's out there for a series or two, maybe get him under center a little bit just to make sure that whole operation is smooth as well. So, I can live with it if they don't necessarily move the ball. I don't think they're going to be out there for any length of time.
Right.
If Drake in the first offense played the whole first half and didn't put any points on the board, I would be concerned. If they play a series or two and they only, they score a field goal or nothing, I won't necessarily be concerned if it looks right.
Yeah.
But like Claudia said, if you're going 3 and out and you get sacked twice, or you're hurried out of the pocket and you have to throw it away, that's not what anyone's looking for.
If I can just jump in real quick, we're showing Pop Douglas here warming up, and I just got to say, what an outstanding camp for him. He looked unguardable against the Commanders in joint practices a couple days ago. Had some questions coming into this. How's he going to fit into Josh McDaniel's scheme? It would seem like Josh likes these little quick guys. Can he hold up? But he's been outstanding. Really impressed with him. And I think he's
be
gonna be a big
careful.
part of the.
There's your guy.
Pep. There goes Pep. He's got the Guardian cap on again.
Deuce has a crush on
do you?
Jabril Peppers.
I didn't know this.
I don't like the Guardian cap, though. That
Wait,
much,
it's
for
for their
the games.
safety, dude.
I know, but for the
Jeez,
games,
it's not
I
a
don't know.
fashion show.
Well, that's a little fashion show for me.
All right, well.
You'll learn. You'll learn. He's
want me to talk about the uniforms?
He's infatuated with uniforms, face masks, colors, nonsense in general.
Okay.
And we are wearing the gray pants tonight, so I'm sure that a sigh of relief out there for a lot of fans who don't enjoy the blue on blue. So sounds like it'll be a lot of the blue on gray this year. So yeah, you're welcome, everybody.
You're right about the Pop Douglas connection, though. That looked really sharp between him and Drake, and that's what we've been waiting to see. We've been seeing, we saw glimpses of it certainly last season, but now you look at this depth chart. You've got 11 receivers. You got to whittle that down. And does it feel like it's Pop Douglas, Steph Diggs who have those firm 2 spots right now too?
Yeah, 8, 9, 3. Those are the 3. Even Kayshon Boutte, who's been had a really solid camp. I mean, probably by now everybody's seen the footage of Drake throwing him, little pass, stop there in the end zone against the Commanders for a touchdown, and he keeps popping up. I mean, he's so to speak, not Pop Douglas, but Kayshon. But I feel like he makes like 1 or 2 practice, 1 or 2 plays of practice. It's never like Pop where you're like, geez, he had like 6 or 7 plays today. It's not a volume thing, but I think that's his role in the offense. And I'd say, Mac Hollins, he looked pretty good in the joint practices too. He's got some size, and I know he's a journeyman, but I think that he's going to fill a need. And look, that guy right there, Efton Chisholm, him along with Javon Baker, Jalen Polk, the second-year guys, they're fighting for spots right now. And these are the kind of games where Efton Chisholm come in and have a bunch of catches. Maybe he makes a little bit of noise.
Yeah, I would be shocked if he didn't have, a lot of targets tonight.
Time to shine.
Yeah, especially in the second half. I wouldn't imagine there'd be too many frontline players for Washington out there. After that joint practice the other day, I know that they already announced that Sam Hartman's going to start at quarterback. So.
Nice.
You're going third. He's wicked handsome.
He's really handsome. That's the most I remember about him.
That coach and quarterback duo out there at Notre Dame, I gotta say, if you're gonna say it, Deuce.
I mean, I can appreciate a handsome Sam Hartman. I'm not afraid of
Marcus Freeman too. Don't sleep on the coach.
Come on.
That's nice. I like that. But yeah, so I wouldn't expect a lot of starters for Washington. So I think Chisholm will have an opportunity probably. Over the last 3, certainly in the second half, but probably over the last 3 quarters, especially if he gets Josh Dobbs. It'd be a little bit tougher with Wooldridge because he hasn't gotten very many opportunities. But if Josh Dobbs plays a good chunk of this game, it's a veteran quarterback that should light up a secondary of, young players. Chisholm should have some opportunities to make some catches.
Great call. I think you're right. I mean, what we've seen from Dobbs, he's made some throws. He's not afraid to push the ball down the field, so there might be a little bit of excitement here in this preseason game.
He's got nothing to lose anymore. Josh Dobbs. I think the big battle, though, if we're talking receivers, right? Javon Baker, Jalen Polk, the 2 guys we've been really asking a million questions about, and we haven't had a ton of answers. I think Baker looked good in practice, right? He got some of those first team reps. We know the athleticism there. We know the ceiling, but how much of the floor are we going to see is the question. So if you're looking at Baker, Polk, of course it's not 1-to-1, but it's the same position. Who do you favor after camp?
It's a really interesting conversation to have. I mean, Jalen Polk has the pedigree as a second-round pick, and we've kind of discussed this a little bit, that there's probably some fans out there of Jalen Polk. So I don't know if he's necessarily an easy guy to stash on the practice squad. Javon Baker, a fourth-round pick, not far behind him, but definitely different players. I would say we just haven't really seen much out of Jalen Polk yet. He's been really quiet. Javon Baker's really been the one who's made some plays here, and for him, I think it's just consistency. Can he continue to do it? Can he continue to have good practices? But if I'm Jalen Polk, I'm looking to have a game tonight. I'm looking to have something that I can say, hey, let's get things jump-started for me. Let's make some catches. Let's make some plays. Let's get last year behind me and turn over a new leaf here in the preseason. But the clock is ticking. We've got this preseason game. We got joint practices next week. He's got to pick it up, and the same with Chisholm. These guys have opportunities, but the clock is ticking.
So, and that's the difference between tonight and the joint practices is they're going to get a lot of opportunities tonight. The joint practices we saw, they didn't get a lot of opportunities with the first groups. Yeah. And again, when Dobbs is out there, like that's a huge advantage for these young receivers because that's a quarterback that's at a level NFL-wise much higher than the guys he's playing against. Right. Sam Hartman is going to be swimming upstream as a rookie against a defense that's probably going to have some frontline players at the very start of the game. That's a tough task. So I think Dobbs has an advantage because I think he's going to be going against backups.
Well, it's also the mentality of it, right? Sam Hartman's still trying to fight for a job if somebody out there needs a quarterback at some point, whether it's his team or elsewhere, where Dobbs kind of knows the situation at this point. They're going to go to him if Drake Maye gets hurt. One more guy I want to talk about when it comes to the receivers is Kyle Williams, because, of course, after the draft, that was all of the hype. A lot of people want to label him very boomer bust. I've heard a lot of mixed reviews about his camp. I'm curious your thoughts on Kyle Williams, because there was a lot of hype, and now people are sort of in the middle of it.
Yeah, I had a couple catches maybe early on the first few days of practice, and it was like, oh, and then it kind of trailed off. And similar to Polk, it feels like he's been quiet. Of course, he has the draft pedigree, so it feels like he's kind of locked into that fifth receiver spot behind the other four that I mentioned earlier. Would love to see more out of him. Would love to see him bring some kind of big play potential. I think that's what we look at Booty as, solid outside X who's developed. But you're going to see Matt Collins there. You're going to see hopefully a little Kyle Williams there and work those guys in. I think that's the question, Claudia, is how does it all fit together with Polk? Is Polk redundant? Does Baker kind of push that group too? Could he fit into there? So those are the decisions the coaches have to look at through these preseason
the
games.
Kyle Williams thing that Mike mentions, I'm really interested in is, can he provide some kind of big playability? I don't see him as being, certainly not as a rookie, a volume guy. I don't see him catching 70 balls as a rookie. But can he catch 30 with 15 of them going for 20-plus yards? Something like that, where he's giving you a big play potential every game. He might only get 1 or 2 targets a game, but if he can connect on, I don't know, half of them, 2/3 of them, now you got a weapon.
Yeah.
Fred loves when I use the term weapon with the offense.
There's a lot of nuance to that word.
Yeah.
But in the long term, is he destined for that spot? If he could, show, hey, next year going in, do you feel like
and go this way,
Williams is going to be the guy with Diggs and
get better as the season goes on? Maybe you're not quite. This is a complicated offense. We've all, the Josh McDaniels stuff we've beaten to death.
Right.
It's not an easy offense for quarterbacks. And everybody talks about that. Not as many people talk about how hard it is for receivers because you need to do everything the quarterback is doing. So I think Drake Maye has done a really good job of immersing himself in the system and sort of understanding what all the receivers are doing as well as what he's supposed to be doing, which has given him, I think, a more comprehensive understanding of what McDaniels is asking for. So now it's up to the receivers to get up to speed with Maye, and they're all young. I mean, even the guys we're talking about, like Pop Douglas and Kayshon Boutte, are only in year 3.
Yeah.
So you have the 2-year guys in Polk and Baker. You have the rookie in Williams, Chisholm. There's a lot of youth in that room with Matt Collins and Stephon Diggs.
We didn't even mention Bourne, who's been hurt, and we're not going to even see him. So, I mean, that's just one of those injuries where
he's out tonight,
time.
Hasn't practiced in a week. So that's unfortunate for him because Claudia just mentioned, it's not just trying to, make the team and make a role, but put some film out there for everybody else to see, too.
Yeah.
If there's a glut of receivers here, if they only keep 5 and there's no room for Kendrick Bourne, then he wants to catch on somewhere else. Unfortunate for him that he's missed a week of time here in camp.
Right. And it's not so much who's under center. Like, yes, of course, Drake Maye's not playing, but if you're a receiver, it's about getting the separation, going up to get the ball, the route running. That's what everybody's looking for. And the passing game's not going to work well if the guys in the backfield aren't productive. So I do want to talk about that. Travion Henderson, starting with, of course, specifically size. I keep hearing a lot of people bring up size because they're comparing him to Ramondre Stevenson, which 5'10" to 6 feet, 227 to 202. But of course, what makes him so good is that he can catch passes out of the backfield. He was huge for doing that in college. Do you see a world where he becomes RB1, and how quickly do you think we see that?
No, I mean, I don't. I think Ramondre is the guy right now still. I mean, we did have a fumble in the practice in stadium, which I don't think, made anybody feel great after last year. And, Ramondre took full responsibility for it. But, at a certain point, you just have to stop fumbling.
He kind of laughed about it, though. He was kind of like, that happened.
We weren't laughing that much of the day. I was like, of everything I took away tonight, I think that's the thing that only thing that really bugs me. But I think Henderson's going to be an opportunity to provide what we're talking about. Yeah. Explosive plays. We saw he dropped one, unfortunately, that was just an absolute drop in the bucket from Drake in the joint practice. Watching him run is just, wow. What is it like to be a human being that can run that fast and just, just move the way he moves? So I'm really excited about Henderson. I think everybody who's watched this team and knows what they need in terms of explosive playmakers, I think they might have one there. And how's Josh McDaniels going to use him? I mean, Paul's been saying it all camp. Linebackers, they are struggling to run with that guy.
Yeah, certainly the Patriots linebackers haven't been able to do it, and Washington's linebackers couldn't do it on Wednesday. He was open every time they targeted him. I think that's the role I envision. I don't see him being the lead. He might end up being, if Ramondre Stevenson keeps fumbling or whatever, I think they would just go to Antonio Gibson. They don't really have what I would say. I don't think that he's an option as that lead running back that you want to give the ball to 250 times. I don't think that he has the frame for that.
Yeah.
He broke down in college when he was asked to do that. That's why they brought in Judkins as a transfer to sort of split the load with him. But when you're talking about the stuff Claudia mentioned as a pass catcher, getting him in space, getting him the matchups that Deuce mentioned on the linebackers, I think he's been electric. And that's the kind of stuff I'm talking about. If you can get some big plays from him and big plays from your other rookie in Kyle Williams,
cooking with gas.
You haven't had that in the last couple of years. Yeah. It's been, we had a good drive. It was 12 plays, 80 yards, and we scored, which is great. That's great offense. It's just really hard to replicate when you don't have Tom Brady doing it.
Right.
It's hard to win by a death by 1,000 paper cuts every single drive. So if you can get some chunk plays to make it a little bit easier, that lightens the load for everybody.
Yeah. Shall we take some calls? I know Patty's been waiting for a while.
Well, Patty called yesterday.
Patty, let's go, Patty. What's going on?
Hey, Claudia and Jens, what's going on?
Hey. How you doing?
Doing all right. One thing I'm really interested in seeing tonight is who's going to be playing late, out of the two most polarizing positions, offensive line and the wide receivers. And I wanted to get your guys' thoughts on that. And I would like to see Jack Connolly get a little bit of work because I don't think he's making the 53, and I hope he slips through waivers. But he's somebody that's versatile, that in college at least lined up at both guard and tackle positions. That's all I got, guys.
Yeah.
Thanks, Patty.
Thanks, Patty.
I say this all the time. Anytime I talk about the offensive line, I offer the disclaimer that I am not Dante Scarnecchia when it comes to breaking down offensive linemen. I don't think he can play tackle. I mean, I know he did in college a little bit, but he doesn't look to me to have the footwork and just the overall athleticism to be able to play out there. Yeah. So you can. It's fun to look at it and say, well, he played guard and tackle, so that's versatility. But I don't think he's really an option at tackle.
It's going to be really thin tonight, and I don't know how much they want to play Will Campbell, but really you're looking at. I don't think Vidarian Lowe's going to play. He just came off of IR. We talked about Morgan Moses. You're really looking at Will Campbell, Marcus Bryant, Trey Jacobs, Jack Connolly, four tackles.
And when you're looking at the line in general, I would add City So as a guy we haven't seen in over a week either. So I wouldn't expect to see him much, if at all, tonight.
Maybe Caden Wallace, too.
Yeah, Caden Wallace is a good point. So, yeah, you're going to get, I think, Patty's going to get his wish because I think Jack Connolly's going to be out there probably in the second half.
How would you play Will tonight? Would you play him a lot? Like I'm a little bit like I don't know how to approach that.
I would give those two some run. Yeah, I would.
I mean, if any, right? You're going against the twos anyway, so it's not like
get them some confidence.
But I think those two can stay out there even after the rest of the. I would. I think there's value. They're rookies. They need. I think they need some reps.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm not telling you they need to play 50 plays tonight, but
first half.
If you're going to play Drake Maye in the starters, say 10 plays, maybe get them 20.
Yeah. Yeah.
I know those are very round numbers. It never works that way, but
20, get them out.
Who are you guys looking at center? Because I know Greg Bradbury right now is on the depth, but Ben Brown out there. We have a lot of guys who can play two positions too. So
I thought it was interesting on Wednesday, Deuce, that in the middle of the team period, Ben Brown was playing center. I don't know if that was to try to control the reps for Bradbury, or if it was performance related, or if it's Ben Brown's making a push. I think you could look at that a lot of different ways.
I kind of see those guys as like flip side. What is it? The same side or the different sides of the same coin. Where Ben Brown's got some good size and seems like he can hold up in pass protection pretty well against the bigger interior defensive tackles. Whereas Garrett Bradbury's a little more athletic and probably a little bit better on the move against the run, but maybe not quite as stout against the pass. So I kind of feel like the best case scenario is if Ben Brown continues to rise and take the. He's another young guy. But I think I got real concerns about Bradbury. It's been real inconsistent in camp. Those are the things we heard about him in Minnesota. We'll see. It wasn't great against him in the drills on Wednesday. So I think it's a great spot for some questions. I mean, we saw Jared Wilson there for a while. We were even considering him as the center maybe for a little bit. So it's a big question mark. It's a big question mark. I'm on quite a few question marks along the offensive line still.
As long as Cole Strange doesn't have to go to center again.
He might. There's probably a good chance.
He's definitely struggled with the snaps, and that's unfortunate for him because I think that would be his best avenue for a roster spot, is having the ability to play both. And like I said with Conley, Cole Strange has played center and guard, but he doesn't look like he can play center at an effective NFL level.
Yeah.
Because of those issues with the exchange.
And I think he has receivers too. I know we touched on it, but who do you guys expect to see most tonight? I know there's a lot of them. So.
I mean, I would definitely say Williams and Baker and Polk and Chisholm probably leading the way. Maybe I don't need to see much of Pop Douglas. I don't need to see much of Keyshawn Booty. I don't even really need to see much of Mac Hollins, but just let the young guys go feast. I mean, especially going against the twos. You're playing with a veteran quarterback too, who's going to kind of keep things together.
Yeah.
It's you might be a little more concerned if you had a rookie quarterback going out there and a few rookies and young guys, and it might get discombobulated. But you hope that Josh Dobbs is experienced enough that he's going to be able to get those guys work and make those guys, give those guys opportunities. That's what I like about Josh Dobbs playing tonight. Those guys will get opportunities. He'll get the ball to them.
Let's head to break, and then we'll grab your guys' calls. We got about 15 minutes left in show.
Wow.
Flew by.
New show, Deuce.
Tommy Boy took up all our time. But first, the biggest deal in breakfast is waiting for you at Dunkin'. Get one medium hot or iced coffee and any two delicious wake-up wrap sandwiches for just $5. Don't sleep on breakfast's biggest deal. Drop by or order one ahead on the Dunkin' app. Excludes espresso and cold brew beverages. Modifications may be an additional charge. Participation may vary. Limited time offer cannot be combined with other offers. Exclusions and terms may apply. And the Patriots Pregame Show is sponsored by the Massachusetts 250 campaign, commemorating a history of possibility. Plan your revolutionary weekend at massachusetts250.org. We'll be right back.
If you're gonna play the game, boy, you gotta learn to play it right.
DraftKings is all about responsible gaming. It's more fun when it's for fun. So play responsibly. DraftKings, the crown is yours.
Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. 21 plus. Age and eligibility varies by jurisdiction.
Popsicles, sprinklers, a cool breeze. Talk about refreshing. You know what else is refreshing this summer? A brand new phone with Verizon. Yep, get a new phone on any plan with Select Phone Trade-in and My Plan. And lock down a low price for 3 years on any plan with My Plan. This is a deal for everyone, whether you're a new or existing customer. Swing by Verizon today for our best phone deals. 3-year price guarantee applies to then current base monthly rate only. Additional terms and conditions apply for all offers.
Without good blocking, your team's not going anywhere. Cisco blocks cyber attacks for customers around the world, including the entire Fortune 100 and the NFL. Because when the game is on the line, and it's always on the line, the NFL relies on Cisco.
It ain't my dad's razor, Dad.
Hey, watch it.
It's from Gillette Labs. This green bar releases trapped hairs from my face.
Game changer.
While the Flex, this contours to it. So the 5 blades can get virtually every hair in one stroke. For the ultimate Gillette shaving experience.
The best a man can get
is Gillette Labs.
Join the show by calling in at 855-500 or email at podcast@patriots.com. Now, back to the Patriots pregame show fueled by Dunkin'.
We're back here. We'll get to your calls in just a second. But first, I want to tell you about Brunt. Based right here in New England, Brunt Workwear makes work boots and apparel that are built for the job site. Their gear is comfortable, durable, and named after the real workers in the trades that help design it. You can even try Brunt out on the job, and if it doesn't blow you away, they'll send it back. They'll let you send it back, really. Save $10 on your first order at bruntworkwear.com/Pats or with coupon code PATS. And we don't have a lot of time, so I'm going to give you one more read. Confidence. It's important to have when you're on the road with Bridgestone tires on your car, truck, SUV, or minivan. You're riding on tires you can trust. Bridgestone tires are engineered to give you a peace of mind so you can focus on enjoying the journey. So whether you're on your morning commute, a cross-road country trip, or a relaxing Sunday drive, Bridgestone tires will be with you wherever life's roads may lead. Bridgestone, solutions for your journey, available now at Sullivan Tire. And we are back. Charlie Eldred, I see you on the lines. Let's go to you, shall we? Charlie in Newton. What do you got?
Charlie.
Charlie.
Chuck.
Maybe not. All right. Eldred in North Carolina.
Big E. Uh-oh.
There we go.
There he is. There he is.
Claudia. Hey, Claudia. Hey, Paul. Mike, how y'all doing?
Good. How you doing?
I'm doing pretty good. Can't wait to get back to the game. I'm running a little late today. But question. I know everybody keep bringing up the offensive line, but what with Layden Robinson and City South? And I'll take it off the air. Y'all have a good one.
Thanks, Big E.
Eldred coming with the OL deep dive. That's not usually his thing.
I thought for sure it was going to be who do you like for the 7th receiver spot? Go ahead, Mike.
Well, City's been hurt. I don't think we're gonna see him tonight. And to be honest, been kind of disappointing. I thought Layden Robinson would be in the mix at guard. I mean, of course, I think that's been overshadowed by the fact that Jared Wilson's been really good. So you're not really lamenting that Layden Robinson showed some promise last year, but really just kind of been buried on the depth chart with these new guys that they've brought in. So Caden Wallace being the guy who, again, he's injured too, but he's kind of emerged into that guard spot after being a tackle last year. So, yeah, not much out of Layden Robinson, but he'll probably play a lot tonight, second half, I would guess.
Absolutely. But he's been, like Mike said, he's been mired with the threes really throughout. So I don't necessarily see a spot for him unless we get some more injuries, which no one wants to see. But City So to me is an interesting guy because there have been flashes with him in the past, but he can't seem to put it together and stay healthy for any consistent level. I remember last year against Washington, in Washington, I think he sort of hurt that ankle pretty bad, and that kind of really threw his whole season off, and he was never the same. So it's another one, I think, year 3 for him, right?
Yep.
It's a tough time to be hurt. I know it's a tough business. But the coaches, I certainly think they understand when injuries happen, but it's a production business. If you're not available to produce, this is a tough time to be missing a lot of practice.
Love to see Caden Wallace get back soon. I think, he
another
has
guy that's been hurt.
Some capability to play tackle too. Just, some of that versatility we talked about was Strange. Wallace has some of that. Maybe he could be, potentially a 4-spot backup. So we'll see who gets back out there against the Vikings this week.
Marcus Bryant, though, we talked about a couple of guys that are banged up. I'm just looking at the Twitter machine here, and our guys up in the booth are pointing out that Marcus Bryant is the right tackle for Morgan Moses. So another opportunity for him. 7th-round pick out of Missouri. I love when Evan calls him a toolsy tackle because he has all the measurables.
He's not a tool. He's toolsy.
No, he's toolsy. He has the skill set to perform. Certainly at an NFL level. So he's going to be given the opportunity as well. And I thought he looked pretty good in the joint practices on Wednesday. I thought he got more reps than Trey Jacobs did at right tackle. Yeah. We didn't see any of Morgan Moses that day. So another opportunity for the kid out of Missouri tonight.
I don't want to overstate it, guys, but to me, there's been some signs of improvement across the roster with some guys this year, and I just didn't really feel like last year. It felt like a lot of guys went downward trend. A lot of guys had seasons that he's better than this, isn't he? I just think it's a good sign we're seeing some guys seem like they're rising up the ranks and getting opportunities. It's a good sign, I think, from the coaching and how they're taking to it.
It also felt like with all the injuries that they had, we were trying to, what is that term, fit a square peg into a circle hole or something. But now that we have so many guys that
would be a round hole.
Circle, round peg,
round hole.
Whatever. I skipped shapes in
school. This is what happens with the youth. This is what happens with the young. You know how they call us the old?
I don't even know what I said. Actually, I don't really even know what I said. But you guys know what I meant. Okay, Matt? I don't want to hear it from you. All right?
A box with
you
a
guys
circle
know what
round.
I meant.
I do know what you meant. And this is your introduction to the ball busting.
Yeah, you guys go ahead, all right?
All right.
But the point is, circles and triangles and all that. There is so many guys that can play several positions now, and they have the versatility. So instead of forcing Cole Strange into the guard or the center position, we have a guy like we've been talking about in a Bryant who played left tackle in college, but you can, like you said, swing tackle, play right tackle comfortably.
Good size.
There's room for changes, really.
Yeah, just having those young guys come in, and that's, Evan's point where, it's a little scary, maybe thinking about there potentially could be 3 rookies starting on the offensive line, especially when you have Max Crosby coming to town week 1. But at the same time, you're trying to find the best players, and it's not just about this season. It's about building for the long term. And I think we saw for a long time there were a lot of guys that played in front of Tom Brady that were longtime stalwarts who really held the fort for him and, were trusted. And hopefully you can get back to that point where you can just know, hey, we can count on Jared Wilson. We can count on Will Campbell. Be a great thing to have. This team has been looking for that kind of consistency for too long.
All right, we got 2 calls. We got about 5 minutes left. Jeremy and Andover. It flew by.
We'll give a little lightning round to close out the pregame show.
Hey, guys. So long time, first time. Just curious what you guys think about wide receiver room right now. I know Warren isn't putting his uniform on tonight. Is that them getting ready to trade him out? Is them getting ready to cut him? How's that looking, you guys think?
Yeah.
He's hurt.
He's hurt. Yeah, he got hurt in the in-stadium practice.
Thanks, Jeremy.
Yeah, he hasn't practiced for a week.
He got rolled up on.
Yeah, I think Mike broke down the back end of that receiver room pretty well.
John Giles, though,
I like John Giles. I don't see really,
Big athletic kid.
Yeah, but again, these are guys that really haven't had any opportunities with the frontline players. Yeah. So it's going to come down to me if Mike Vrabel wants to keep more than 5 receivers. And if it's 6, if it's 7, whatever, I don't think it matters. I don't think any of those guys is necessarily separated from the other. If I had to pick one, so Kendrick Bourne has been hurt, so I'm going to take him out of this equation right now. But if I had to pick one out of Jalen Polk, Javon Baker, Efton Chisholm, I think I would take Baker. I think he's been the best out of those 3 guys, especially lately, and the point that Evan always makes about him being a little bit different than the rest.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Now, that doesn't mean I don't want to expend, any resources into trying to develop Polk further or develop Efton Chisholm, get these guys on the practice squad or see if you can and continue to work with them. They're still young. There's still time for them to improve.
Yep, for sure. No, I agree. I mean, it's interesting night. It's like trusting Javon Baker. That's like, like you hurt me a couple times and I don't know if I can trust you yet.
So
but who can you trust, really?
we were joking around today about that. I saw something came over, my timeline in Kansas City with Tyquan Thornton. And, he's making a catch and, whoever posted it at Kansas City.
Enjoy it.
Another strong day at camp for Tyquan Thornton. I was like, Patty, not Patty and Agawam, Patty Mahomes. Don't fall for it. Don't fall. Now, just the Patriots' luck, it probably will all work out for him because it's the Chiefs. But, yeah, we've seen these flashes. I agree with Deuce's phrase. I have a hard time trusting.
Yeah.
You know, I have trust issues.
Yeah, well, there's part of me, though, that thinks that if Javon Baker could get in there and get a role and just feel a little bit secure, like I think that might help him be more consistent. Maybe. I'm just speculating because he is a talented guy. But, you know, it's just you need it every day, and you need to know we can count on you when we're going to put you in there. So big opportunities for him tonight to continue his strong summer.
All right, I think we got time for one more. Kareem in Cali. Hello. What's going on?
Hey, how you doing?
Good. How you doing?
Good.
This is a show.
Just your opinion on the young guys like edge rushers like Elijah Ponder. What's your perspective, your opinion on him and playing time, and do you feel that he's going to fit in well with the team?
Okay, thanks, Kareem.
It's a good call. I'm intrigued by Elijah Ponder.
Oh, yeah. That's why I brought him up.
I think that there's a job to be won on the edge. You know, Braden Swinson's a kid they brought in the draft. You know, sort of, you know, just kind of been out there a little bit. I think Ponder has flashed a little bit. Certainly on Wednesday in the joint practice, I noticed him on a couple of occasions. So those young guys, look, we know Harold Landry's going to be here. Certainly looks like Chaseon's going to be here. Keon White is kind of a tweener. He can play inside. He can play outside. There's going to be some jobs to be won in depth spots on the edges. Maybe Ponder gets one of them.
Yeah. He has that speed. He looked good on the one-on-ones. Yeah.
I mean, highly productive, you know, in a small school. But, yeah, it's a position of need. It's a position of long-term need. And you can never have too many pass rushers. You need guys that can get after the passer. Hate to think what would happen without Harold Landry. He seems like he's going to be a stalwart.
Just like 6'3", 260. You know, just
good size.
You know, he's another one of those guys. He moves well, good athlete. I didn't know a lot about him, you know, out of Cal Poly.
Yeah.
Undrafted guy. There's always going to be undrafted rookies that make the team.
Yeah.
And you try to figure out which one. I would say right now, he's got a really strong shot, and he will, as Kareem mentioned, he's going to get opportunities in the second half tonight, maybe even before that. Yeah. Continue that. Show that what you did on the practice field is no fluke. Go out and take it to the game field.
Rough up Sam Hartman.
A crucial position they needed.
A little scruff.
Yeah. Seriously. That hair, we pulled the hair a little. What? Sorry, it's getting too late. All right. That's it for us. Kevin, sorry we didn't get to you. You can join us for the post-game show. We got kickoff at 7:30, and we will be there to break it all down. The first game of the season, preseason, Patriots Commanders. Let's go. Enjoy the game.
Hey, this is Deuce. Thanks for tuning into the show. If you really want to help us, make sure you like us wherever you get your podcasts, like Apple Podcasts or Spotify. Also, make sure you follow us on the New England Patriots YouTube channel to see this show and everything else that we do here at the Patriots. Thanks a lot.